5 News This Morning starts now.
25 years of bikes, blues, and barbecue. Everything you need to know about this week's event in just a few minutes.
And if you're headed out to that event today or the rest of this week, really not expecting much rain chances. Maybe tomorrow a spotty chance. Otherwise looking dry and warm. We'll have a full forecast for you coming up.
If it proceeds, you'll have 264 state employees affected.
Plus, developing overnight, the government has shut down. How people in Arkansas could feel the impacts.
And a live look out in Bentonville. Good morning to you there. It is 6:30. Thanks so much for waking up with us. We're halfway through the week here and the first day of October. It just doesn't feel like it, though.
I feel like it's going to be Christmas before we know it. The year's flying by.
I know. All right, Danny, what you got for us with the weather today?
Well, thank you, Joe, for not putting too much pressure on me. Usually Joe around here will say the most important news of the day, and it's like, don't put that pressure on me.
I'm just hoping you'll give good news.
We're putting it back on us, Danny.
Okay. Well, I'll leave the hard news to you guys. For me, it's pretty lighthearted news because, it's going to continue to be warm. As you guys mentioned, it's not going to feel like fall out there, and this morning is going to be no different. For us in the upper 50s to low 60s, it feels a little bit cooler out there, generally speaking. But again, we should be about 50 to 56 this morning, and we're about 5 degrees above that across the region. Now, with these clear skies and light winds, you can see fog develop. That's certainly the case this morning. You can see some areas of dense fog, especially in Johnson and Logan County, in southern Washington County, especially around Fayetteville, eastern Benton County, a little bit near the south side, as well as Sequoia and LaFleur County. Basically to say, there's a chance of patchy fog no matter where you go. So just be mindful of that heading out the door. Otherwise, once that sun does rise, you saw a hint of that orange on the left side of your screen there in Bentonville. We still have another 45 minutes for that sun to officially rise, but when it does, we will see warm conditions. For now, we'll see those temperatures get around 60. We'll call it a rough average of the region. We'll see at recess or lunchtime plenty of sun, temperatures in the 70s. As you're heading home, we'll see temperatures in the 80s, maybe some close to 90 in the River Valley, and through at least, I'd say, Tuesday of next week, and this temperature trend is going to stay steady. So we'll talk more about that here. Get you ready for the rest of the week coming up in your full forecast. For now, I'll take a live look at traffic on this Wednesday morning. I shouldn't necessarily say a live look, but there is an accident here in Benton County along Highway 59. This is in between Decatur and Gentry. This is southbound there of a 2-vehicle accident on the right shoulder. So again, I just want to show you the map here a little bit so you can see zoomed in here between Decatur and Gentry. So again, Highway 59 southbound the right shoulder. If you're in that direction, be mindful of possibly a little bit of a slowdown in your morning commute. Again, we'll have that full forecast coming up in about 15 minutes. Joe and Tiffany.
All right, thanks for that. Well, today the 25th annual Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue begins in downtown Rogers. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people travel for the event.
Yeah, 5 News reporter Emily Moss is joining us live there with more. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Joe and Tiffany. That's right, it's the 25th year of Bikes, Blues, and a Barbecue, and today's event will start kicking off around 10 o'clock this morning with that first demo of the bikes, and then of course the vendors, the food tents you see behind me, they smell and sound so good. It's all going to start around noon. Perfect timing for lunch, and it's 25th year. The board has also focused on connecting with younger fans, including a new youth band performing here Thursday night and a partnership with Heritage High School for a car and bike show Saturday. Over the course of its 25 years, the rally has donated over $3 million to nonprofits and charities in the region. Tommy Sizemore is the executive director for the rally. He says giving back is always at the core of what they plan each year.
Stuff like this is very expensive to host and to put on. And so a lot of times, we hear the feedback that, we don't have any national touring bands or all that stuff costs money. And the more money we spend on that stuff, the less money we have to give back. And so for us, every decision we make in the boardroom is based on the ability to give money back at the end of the event.
Now, a reminder, obviously, this is a major event. Hundreds of thousands of people are expected to be in the area. If you usually come by downtown Rogers right now, we're on First and Walnut. Make sure you're expecting there's going to be a lot of traffic here. It's probably best you try to find a detour if you're not coming to the event. But if you are, it's good to know that tonight will be Faith and Family Night themed. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Emily. All right, developing this morning, your top story, the fallout of a government shutdown. While you were sleeping, a last-ditch effort to stop it fell short of just 5 votes.
Today, tens of thousands of federal workers will be notified to stay home, furloughed without pay. Thousands of essential employees like military troops and air traffic controllers will report for duty also without pay. Multiple proposals to keep the government funded past midnight failed in the U.S. Senate. Senate Republicans pushed for the Clean House, passed a bill that extends funding into next month, But Senate Democrats want a bill that also extends federal health care subsidies and protects Medicaid.
Bottom line is, we need to stop these premiums from going up dramatically. We need to do it now.
President Trump is now threatening mass layoffs and federal cuts.
We'd be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected, and they're Democrats. They're going to be Democrats. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want, and they'd be Democrat things.
Americans will continue to receive Social Security and passports, though the TSA warns that travelers should expect delays.
Well, what does the government shutdown mean for Arkansas? Well, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders released the protocol her administration will enforce if a shutdown continues. She said they'll work with the Department of Finance to determine which programs must be suspended and which employees will be furloughed. The spokesperson for the Finance Department says some state employees could be furloughed starting this morning.
If it proceeds, you'll have 264 state employees affected, and that's out of roughly just about 22,000 in the executive branch.
Now, there are still questions over if that number could grow the longer the shutdown lasts. The department stressed that programs that serve public health and safety will continue to operate.
U.S. Senator Tom Cotton is weighing in, saying in part, Republicans voted for a simple bipartisan bill and claims that Democrats are demanding $1 trillion in unrelated spending. The chair of the Arkansas Democratic Party, Colonel Marcus Jones, said in part, President Trump and his allies would rather shut down the government than work with Democrats to prevent a health care crisis.
Well, recent shootings at churches across the country have pushed many church congregations to focus on safety. One class in Northwest Arkansas is helping members prepare in case the unthinkable were to ever happen. The U.S. Concealed Carry Association hosted a Protecting Your House of Worship class. This was in Taneytown. This comes as just this week, 4 people were killed in a shooting at a fire at a Michigan church. And in August, 2 children lost their lives during a mass shooting in Minneapolis. The training covered how to identify potential threats, create an emergency plan, and secure a church during services. Organizers say the goal is to give congregations practical steps to keep their communities safe.
Most of them make themselves a really soft target, right? No guns, no this, no that. We want to keep everybody out that has guns or whatever, and that leads to the bad guys showing up with a gun because they don't care about the signs.
Well, instructors say they hope that this class is just a starting point and that other churches will continue to seek similar training.
Well, in continuing coverage, a Washington County jury has found the man guilty of capital murder. This week, we've been following the trial of Jason Dunnigan. A jury found him guilty in the 2021 murder of his wife, Amber. Jurors read the verdict on Tuesday and sentenced Dunnigan to life in prison. Evidence from Dunnigan's vehicle shown in court claimed that he was driving nearly 90 miles per hour in a 40 zone as he left the area where Amber was killed. Arkansas State Senator Brian King is raising concerns alongside the family of the late Senator Gary Stubblefield, who represented Senate District 26. Governor Sanders originally announced the date for a special election to fill the vacant seat on November 3rd, 2026. She has since moved it up to June 9th. But as Claire Everbach reports, some state lawmakers say that they feel the election should happen sooner.
Senator Brian King says the decision to move the general election to June means District 26 won't have a voice during one of the most crucial times of government, the fiscal session.
This attempt to have the special election after the budget session will impact not just the prison issue, but it will also impact the budget session. They will have no representation during the budget session.
King says this isn't just a matter of timing, but a matter of right and wrong.
While we're here today, if you look at this situation of even moving back this special election to June, you're basically allowing stolen representation. You're trying to steal representation from the people in that Senate district at one of the most crucial times of our state government.
He says the proposed prison in Franklin County is an example of why this matter is urgent.
His district and mine, being close enough, could be the most impacted from the mega prison and impact them for decades. And all of a sudden, this governor believes that they should not have representation during this crucial time.
And emphasized this change is a form of stealing representation.
Voter fraud, it really is about stealing representation, and this putting off the special election for his seat is about just stealing representation.
Amber Sullivan, the daughter of Senator Stubblefield, stood alongside King and spoke at the press conference. She says her father's seat should not go unfilled for so long.
We're not asking anybody to break the law, but his seat should not go unrepresented for 8 months, 9 months. It shouldn't go 5 months.
Sullivan echoed King's call for a timely election, so District 26 has representation before the budget session.
That was Claire Everbonk reporting. The governor's office released this statement saying holding the District 26 primary on the statewide primary date and the special election on the soonest date afterward saves taxpayer money and makes sure that the election is free, fair, and secure.